Oh, thank you. Uh, Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Liang Wang. I'm a postdoc from Princeton University. Today, I'm going to introduce blend certificate authorities. This is the joint work with Gilad, Raphael, Tom, and Abi. So certificate authorities, or CAs, play important roles in today's applications. CAs are responsible for issuing certificates which attest to a person or an organization's identity or attributes. So the most common use of CA is in PKI, where CA certificate usually bind public keys to identities. So in the normal certificate generation workflow, the user provides the CA with all the necessary information, including her identity, and the CA validates user's identity before generating the certificate. And the user then can use the certificate in other applications like email, website login, or anonymous credential systems. Usually, the certificate for anonymous credential systems provides an unlinkable, privacy-preserving way for user authentication. But in all existing systems, identity validation, or also called user registration, reveals the true identity of users to the CA. In some scenarios, the user may not want anyone to know her real identity. Say a whistleblower wants to report some scandals to a journalist, and the journalist needs to verify the whistleblower's identity to validate the source of information. But the whistleblower does not know whether the journalist can be trusted or not. And if they are using some kind of anonymous credential system, the whistleblower also need to confirm that the CA is trustworthy. And actually, some systems require the CA has to be set up by the organization of the whistleblower, which is impossible. So revealing true identity to any parties could be risky. So knowing the identity of all users could make a CA a single point of privacy failure, especially in anonymous credential system. If the CA has been compromised, the user won't be able to achieve anonymity anymore. And in this work, we ask this question: can we validate the identity while not learning it? The answer appears to be no, but with secure multi-party computation and their knowledge proof techniques, we make this happen. So in this talk, I will introduce a secure channel injection, which is a general tool that allows a party to inject a small amount of information into a secured channel maintained by two parties. And we show how to inject message in TLS session efficiently. And we leverage a secure channel injection to validate that, to design a new way for email verification. One can validate a user owns some email account from a given organization, but without knowing which account. And finally, we developed this blend CA that can validate the ownership of an account, say alex@domain.com, and issue a F509 certificates that binding Alex to a public key without learning the account and the key. So now I will explain how to build blend CA. Our work focuses on email as identity, the most common identity. I believe everyone has done email verification before. So in the conventional email verification, the user gives the CA her email account, and the CA sends the challenge in an email to the email account provided by the user, and the user later logs into her email account and gets a challenge, and present the challenge to the CA to complete the verification. So importantly, the conventional email verification prove account ownership by showing the ability to read an email from the account. And how does our method work differently? First, let's look at secure channel injection. So in secure channel injection, two parties, Alex and Bob, establish a secure channel that is protected by some shared secret keys. And the third party, Carol, holds a private message. And Alex and Bob will exchange some message in the secure channel. And at a given time, at a given point of communication, Carol runs the MPC protocol with Alex to inject this private message in the secret message sent from Alex. Here, Alex provides the secret keys, and Carol provides the private message. So as a result, Bob is never aware of the injection, and from his perspective, he just thinks all the messages, including the private message held by Carol, are from Alex. And Alex learns nothing about the private message from Carol, and Carol learns nothing about the other messages from Alex. Now we show how to use a secure channel injection to build our new email verification method. We call it anonymous proof of account ownership, or anonymous POL. So SMTP is a protocol for sending emails. And in anonymous POL, the CA serves as a proxy or a middle box between a user, say Alex, and the SMT server for the user's email account. And most time, the CA just forward the traffic back and forth. And the user logs into her email, her SMT, her email account, and send an email from her account to some mailbox that she has access to. And when the email goes to the CA runs a secure channel injection with the user to inject the challenge into the email. And this email will be forwarded by the SMT server to the mailbox specified in the email. And later, the user can access this email box to get the challenge and give it to CA to complete the verification. So as long as the user can send an email from the SMT server at domain.com, the CA knows that the user has some account that belong to domain.com. So different from conventional email verification, our methods prove account ownership by showing the ability to send an email from an account. So though the CA does not know the exact email account, knowing one owns some account from an organization is already useful. For example, one can prove to a journalist or some like an anonymous review website or salary sharing website that she is working at a given organization without reviewing the actual working emails, and which greatly improve privacy. And in anonymous POL, the user and the CA need to inject a challenge into a TLS session. And we focus on AES CBC and SHA-256 in our talk. And we can see constructing a TLS record under this cipher suite is quite complex. And for 512 bytes email and 16 byte challenge, if we use generic MPC techniques, we got a very large circuit. It has about near 1 million AND gates, and it could be very slow. So therefore we design a more efficient special purpose MPC protocol. So our observation is that review the intermediate computing result of SHA-256 and AES CBC will not break the security properties of these functions. For example, SHA-256 uses a Merkle-Damgard construction, and a message will be split into blocks. And a compare function will take as input a message block, and the output will serve as the input for the next round of compression. So we found that the output of the compare function can be treated as a random string and reveal no information about the input. So assuming that the s+1 to s+k blocks are injected by the CA, which is the challenge, and the user can send the output of the compare function for block X to the CA. And the CA continue to run the compare function for the blocks x+1 to x+k, and finally send back the output of the compare function for x+k back to the user. And similarly, in AES-DBC, the user can send the ciphertext of block X to the CA. And the CA can run the generic PC with the user to compute the ciphertext for the challenge and send back the ciphertext of the last block of the challenge to the user, and so the user can continue to compute the rest ciphertext. And in the same setting, our protocol only need to compute 4 AES blocks, and using standard MPC techniques. And we do not need to use MPC at all for computing HMAC. This can significantly improve the performance. We further build blind CA using anonymous poll. First, let's look at how SMT works. So here is the simplified SMT session. It consisted of 4 steps. The first, the client sends some message to the server and to set up the SMTP TL session and notify the MP server that he's ready for authentication. And in step 2, the client sends the authentication message, which contains the username and the password. And then the client sends some other message to notify the server that she's ready for sending email. And finally, the client will send the email. And in blind CA, we only care about step 2 and step 4 here. So in step 2, we will grab the TLS fragment for the authentication message as a commitment to user's identity because it will contain the username. And in step 4, we run anonymous poll to inject a challenge into the email. And the CA will record the challenge being used for a SMT session and the corresponding commitment for later use. And then the CA create a certificate template and share it with the user. So all the fields in the certificate templates are public, except for the subject and the public key. And the user fills in the missing info and generate the hash of the certificate. Then we use ZK-BOO framework to generate their knowledge proof. So ZK-BOO can express non-interactive their knowledge proof as Boolean circuits. And the user need to generate a single circuit to show that the email account being used, the email account and the public key being used for the certificate. She knows the email account and public key for the constructing the certificate, and also knows the opening for the TLS commitment, like secret key email account. And also the email account in the certificate is the same as the email account in the TLS commitment. And the user sends the challenge, the hash of the certificate, and the proof to the CA. The CA retrieves the commitment based on the challenge and verifies the proof based on the commitment. And everything is okay. The CA will send the hash of the certificate and send it back to the user. And the user will just attach the signature to the original cert to construct a valid F509 certificate. So we implement the anonymous poll using malicious SQL and PC libraries, and we test the performance of poll under different settings, in the control setting or with real SMT servers. And we can see the overhead are relatively small. And for certificate generation and verification, since all these processes are complete offline, we think the overhead are acceptable. So when we want to use the duration of the SMT session to detect anonymous poll because the actual overhead, but we analyze the duration of 8,000 SMT TBTL session extract from real network traces. And we found the distribution of the duration is long-tailed. So actually 15% of the SMT session is longer than 10 seconds, which suggests session duration may not be a reliable detector. In summary, we designed the first blunt certificate, a certificate that, blunt CA, a CA that can validate the identities and issue certificates without learning the identity. And our blunt CA actually can work for both AES ABC and AES GCM mode. And our CA achieves participation privacy, which means the prover doesn't need to reveal her identity to any parties during the verification. And please see our paper for more details. Thank you.
We have a little bit of time for questions. If you come up to the microphone there. And the next speaker, just get ready. And the third speaker, please go in the back and be prepared to get the microphone set up. I guess I have a question. Have you thought about extending these to, for example, other type of authentication mechanisms besides email?
Yes, yeah, I think the secure channel injection is a very general tool, so it definitely can work with other protocols, other secure channels.
Shall we thank the speaker again?